We come off this year's SummerSlam with the most interesting feud, well, possibly character changing feud that I have seen in a while, to having one of the most uncomfortable, the most unwatchable feuds known to WWE history. Yeah, what a way to start off Night of Champions, guys. We come off SummerSlam talking about the one thing that's on everybody's mind, the vicious beating that John Cena pretty much took at SummerSlam with him versus Brock Lesnar, and how Brock Lesnar took his title. This was something on everybody's brain 8 days after SummerSlam. Still. And they ended up starting off in the most over the top way that they could possibly think of. When I think of over the top, I'm talking about not one, not two, but three freaking legends in a dumb forum in the beginning of the show. Don't get me wrong. I love seeing my legends. I love the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. I love to see HBK back out there, the Heartbreak Kid. And it's always awesome to see Hulk Hogan. Seriously, the guy is a freaking legend of the Golden Era. It's wonderful to see these guys out there. But the whole solitary purpose, and I would consider this insulting in John Cena's mind, if I was thinking, and if I was John Cena, I would be downright insulted to have the three guys that I look up to be sitting there on their butts in a chair, well, in a chair, of course, talking about how much I suck and how much I'm not going to win. How insulting is that? Maybe they're not talking about how much I suck, but how much of a vicious beating that I got at SummerSlam, as well as the fact that I might not even beat my opponent, and how going against him again is just flat out stupid. Except you had the whole realist, idealist, realist sandwich. You had HBK as a realist, you had the Nature Boy as a realist, and then you had the idealist to be Hulk Hogan smack dab in the center as a sandwich. Yeah, that usual thing. But having John Cena come out with this same old Super Cena retort was just stupid. I want to see some fear in him. Seriously. I really do. But of course, it's a whole Super Cena fashion. Come out there and say how much I'm going to beat him and then leave. Whatever. But I will say the most interesting little moment of the night, the most interesting segment of the night for me was Brock Lesnar's retort. I love that video that they did of Brock Lesnar right after SummerSlam, because it shows that he meant business. Brock Lesnar doesn't necessarily need Paul Heyman, even though Paul Heyman is a great guy to have on his arm and great guy to have on his side and an excellent talker. But when Brock talks, people listen. When Brock talks, there's freaking power behind it. Not to mention that he is like literally just biting him down after what happened at SummerSlam. Like, he literally has the brass to back it up. And it showed at SummerSlam, and I love that segment because it just really did just beat Cena down verbally. That's how I really feel about it. I love that segment completely, and I'm real interested in seeing how this feud is going to turn out. And I have my own personal thoughts about Cena, but I am going to have it in the next discussion video that I'm going to put up soon, but whatever. But the thing is, from going to the most interesting feud of the entire night to going to the most uncomfortable one, the Bella Twins. We all saw at SummerSlam Nikki's face turn, well, Nikki's heel turn actually. We saw Nikki's heel turn at SummerSlam against her sister Brie. Pretty much the most uncomfortable moment of the night, because you can tell that deep in her heart she did not want to go against her sister. She just didn't. It's just something that she really didn't want to do. She couldn't even make a frowny face. She looked like she was bothered by it. And even with the segment with Stephanie, she looked bothered by it. And even with Monday night's segment that she had with Jerry the King Lawler, with her sister in her face, she was still uncomfortable. It's a given that these girls really don't want to feud against each other. They don't even want to hit each other. They don't even want to go against each other. And it's a given. They're identical twins. They share the same DNA. Not to mention that they're best friends. It's hard. Even though they're trying to be professional, they can't do it. And instead of making this feud continue, I'm hoping that they kill it at the next pay-per-view and keep it moving. Because it's a given that these girls cannot do it. And it's a given that they don't have the heart to hurt each other. So I'm really hoping that they move on with this and they don't ever, 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 ever do this again. But another feud that I really wish would end, and I'm tired of the character being reduced to nothing but ridiculous foolishness, is Paige. I love Paige. I love who she represents at NXT. I love her moves. This chick can wrestle and she's tough as nails. But they're making her so much like AJ Lee. It's ridiculous. She's not staying true to who she was when she developed her character in NXT. She completely changed her entire character around. Sure, it's great to see her as a full-fledged heel, but for crying out loud, stop copying AJ Lee. Be yourself. Be what you want to be, and they should allow her to be what she wants to be. I love AJ, but AJ's a true heel. There's nothing face about her. I'm sorry. The only possible way that AJ Lee can be a face is if she's a freaking victim. But she's not a victim anymore. She's a vixen-ish, but she's still the heel, the psycho heel, Cray J Lee. That's what they call Cray J Lee. But she's the same psychotic, crazy AJ Lee that she's always has been. She is definitely not in any way, shape, or form a face. But this whole somewhat like issue, craziness, mind games that they think that she's playing, she's not really playing mind games. She is just a really psychotic character. I really do want this whole feud to end, and I just don't want it to continue anymore. Seriously, I just want to be done. But they had a bunch of random matches that they had throughout the night that I really didn't care much about because it had nothing to do with Night of Champions. And of course, it had a very predictable ending with John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. Very predictable. It was nice how Bray Wyatt kind of wanted to tie himself into how Cena was really feeling and wanted to break him down psychologically even more. But having your butt handed to you and your minions handed to you by not only John Cena, but also Mark Henry and The Big Show. Yeah, you had help. And of course, Cena standing up on top like, yeah, I won. Hustle, loyalty, and respect. Not something I really wanted to see, but it was a predictable thing that happened, and we all knew that was going to happen. And as for Bo Dallas, I love Bo Dallas, but I didn't really care much about Bo Dallas, but I am interested in the fact that they might start a feud with him and Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger is now in a whole international feud between him and Rusev, and seeing how the Rusev didn't have him tap out, I wouldn't believe that. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually have a match, like either a I Quit match or they have a submission match, something that will make Jack Swagger finally tap out. That's how I personally see it. I would not be surprised if they have a match like that for Night of Champions, because this is an international thing, people. It's Russia versus USA. And somehow USA is going to be on top of it at this pay-per-view coming up. But it would be kind of cool to actually see somehow Bo Dallas is going to be involved in this feud somehow. Or if he actually starts feuding with Bo Dallas, that leads on up to the pay-per-view. Either or, it's nice to see Bo Dallas in a really, really kind of somewhat-ish semi-high profile feud. So it would be nice to actually see that happen, but we'll see from there. But there's also another interesting feud that I have seen that I never thought I would see, but it makes sense since Roman Reigns really has nothing more to do. He already beat Randy Orton, and I don't think they're going to go through with it. But Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins is no more for right now because Dean Ambrose is not there. He pretty much got his butt handed to him by having cinder blocks crushing his skull at the pay-per-view. But they try to do the same thing with Roman Reigns, but it's a given that Roman Reigns and Kane, as well as Seth Rollins, are going to be feuding a while as well, which is kind of interesting because, come on, Roman Reigns actually worked with Seth Rollins, and it's kind of interesting to see how a high flyer and a brawler is going to go together in this kind of style match. I'm hoping that Kane stays out of it, but I doubt that he will. But it's kind of interesting to see how they're going to do it at Night of Champions, if they're going to make it a triple threat match or make him a number one contender. I don't know. Or maybe put the briefcase on the line. That would be cool. Don't mind to see that. But honestly, I will say this for my overall thoughts. There were a few things that really interested me leading on up to Night of Champions. There's 4 possible decent feuds that's going to be coming out. There's one feud that could definitely change the character of one character that everybody hates. And then there's a feud that I wish would end. Well, 2. But either or, I'm kind of interested in Night of Champions. I'm kind of interested to see exactly where they're going to go in this direction. And I'm kind of interested to see how they're going to do the Bella Twins and how it's going to work out, as well as John Cena. But guys, I want to hear your personal thoughts about this Raw. Leave a comment comment, leave a comment in the comment section below. I don't know why I can't talk tonight, but either or, y'all, I don't think this was a bad Raw. They still have a long way to go till Night of Champions, and I'm hoping they'll have a decent build from there. It's the Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.